Oh, you don't think so?
You probably only like walls for Israel, right? Do you think you're like making a point with that statement? Like, do you think you said something insightful there? Do you think that Israel has a wall between every single country and itself? Like, do you think you said something meaningful there? Or there was like a huge gotcha? Like,
in November, my team began.
Bro, we're trying to cook. You don't even have the stove turned on.
In November,
but they do have a wall between the problematic areas. If the southern border is problematic, then a wall is justified, no? You should take a, you should find like a thin, like a very, very, very thin strip of glass and slide it all the way into your cock and break it in half, okay? The obsession with building a wall is like the obsession with liberals and rent control fixing all of our housing problems. The issue right now has nothing to do with having a wall. I think our percentage of people apprehended is higher than it ever has been. Like 80+% of people that are trying to cross illegally are being apprehended. The problem right now has nothing to do with whether or not there's a wall or not. It has to do with how we process asylum seekers. The problem, people aren't even like trying to cross illegally anymore. They just run up and they say, I'm seeking asylum, process me. That's the issue right now. Finishing the wall isn't going to change anything. It's not going to help anything. It's like a big like jerk off monument that isn't actually doing anything at all for us right now. It wouldn't do anything at all for us right now.
We've ever seen. Oh, you don't think so? Oh, you don't like that bill, huh? That conservative.
Your solution is to hire more judges, even more brain-dead solution than a fucking wall. How is that a brain-dead solution when we literally have a backlog of like 3 million cases that need to be processed? How do you think those cases are going to be processed, dipshit? How do you think you get through them, dumb fuck? What do you think you need? What do you do?
Got together and said it was a good bill? I'll be darned. That's amazing. That bipartisan bill would hire 1,500 more security agents and all.
The case will be processed by deporting them. No, you can't just deport somebody without going through the process of their case first. That's the right that you're guaranteed if you come to the United States. What do you mean? When you say that, the implication is, do we just never take a refugee or asylum seeker anymore? We never do that? Is that impossible? If you want to do that, I'm in favor of that. If you want to say fuck refugees and fuck asylum seekers, I'm 100% on board with that, and we can do that. But we need to go back to every single motherfucker in this country who descended from somebody that came through Ellis Island, and you fuckers get kicked the fuck out to Mexico too, or you can go to Canada if you really want. You're gone as well. If you all leave as a fucking package deal, then I'm for it 100%, okay? Either all of them or none of them. Okay? If you had family that came in through Ellis Island, get the fuck out of my country because you didn't go through any actual fucking vetting process. A lot of you motherfuckers didn't have fucking paperwork. You came here with less documentation than fucking Pedro, who works in a berry farm in Southern California right now. So fuck you. If you want to get rid of asylum seekers and refugees, that's fine. Everybody that came through there, you motherfuckers go home too, okay?
Officers. 100 more immigration.
Why not limit applicants to the capacity we have, just like green cards and visas? Well, that was one of the things that the Border Patrol bill was supposed to do. When Ted Cruz says it lets in 5,000 people a day, it wasn't that it lets in 5,000 a day. It was going to cap it at 5,000 a day so that if it went over that, you could shut everything down and say, no more people, too many today. I think that right now, asylum seekers or refugees for the U.S. are uncapped completely, which I think is a bad idea. But somebody linked me this, and I haven't read this yet, so maybe capping asylum seeking is like not even legal, although that seems hard to believe, but...
Judges help tackle the backload. The idea is it's highly...
Can you agree with adding more judges and more walls, or is a wall a no-go for you? If you want to continue... If there are parts of the border that need more protection, whether that's a physical wall, whether that's more security or whatever, then that's fine. Then build it. Nobody should have a problem with that. No patriotic American should have an issue with securing the border. But the problem is you don't give a fuck about securing the border or about anything else. You just like the wall. You're like a guy that sees like a BBL on a corpse and you're like, well, as long as it's got a fat ass, I'll fuck it. It doesn't make any fucking sense. The obsession with just having the wall. If somebody can walk up to a port of entry and say, hey, I'm seeking asylum, let me in. And then they come in just as fine. The wall doesn't fucking do anything. It doesn't matter there. It's not fixing the problem. You're just fixated on the wall because you've tied the wall to your identity as a fucking mega retard. Like that, like it doesn't make any sense to obsess over it that much. It's like a guy who's constantly saying like, we need to fix drugs in the United States. And the only way to do that is by making sure everybody's League of Legends downloaded on their PC. And it's like, okay, well, how about like drug rehab programs or like programs to bust big drug deals? Like, okay, fine. But can we at least like force everybody to install League of Legends too? Like at least like, if you want to do it, I guess, fine. Like, again, the border should be secured. If there are open parts parts of the wall or there are open parts of the border where illegal crossings are a big problem, then that should be dealt with, for sure. I don't think anybody should disagree with that. But I don't think it's even remotely, I don't think it's addressing like 10% of the problem that we have right now.
Unlikely that people will pay that money and come all that way knowing that they'll be able to be kicked out quickly. Folks, I would respectfully suggest my friend.
But walls in Israel is okay. We have walls on our border. Survive. Are you aware of that? You do know that there are walls down on the U.S. border, right? You know that's a thing, right? Beanpot, thanks for the 5 gifted memberships.
Ban people because of their faith.
Maybe I missed something, but is there some reason to not just have an open border and legalize all immigration beyond the obvious political issues? I think I'm generally in favor of, I like the idea in the United States, we have a rule that says that, why do I type numbers and spell them sometimes? How cringe. When we do immigration to the United States, we have per country ceilings. So no group of permanent immigrants, family and employment-based combined, from a single country can exceed 7% of the total number of people immigrating to the U.S. in a single fiscal year. I think that that is a decent idea to make sure that the people that are coming to the United States are a diverse group of people, and you're not just getting like, oh, 80% of our immigrants last year all came from one country. I think that's an okay idea. Maybe you can bump that number a bit to like 8 or 9%, but I think that's a decent idea to hold to. Or we could also increase the absolute number of immigrants that we take in per year as well. Our permanent immigration right now is limited to 140,000 per year.
Unlike my predecessor on my first